The morning commute turned to chaos for lots of riders on the CTA Blue Line after a breakdown trapped 4 trains in a tunnel. Hundreds of people decided to evacuate the trains, which forced the CTA to turn off power for the entire Blue Line. Good evening, everyone. Alan's on assignment tonight. The trains are all running again for the evening rush hour.
But it was a mess this morning when trains were stalled near the station at Clark and Lake. ABC 7's Paul Mikey is here with more on what happened this morning.
Well, if a train comes to a stop in the subway, the CTA doesn't want anybody getting off, not with the hot third rail right there. But it is hard to convince passengers to stay put when it seems like nothing's happening and they're not getting the explanations they feel they need as they sit on a train in a tunnel underground. That's what happened today.
Just before it reached the Clark and Lake platform, one of the loop-bound trains had an electrical problem and it broke down. As the motorman tried to make a fix, 3 other packed trains had to sit behind it at various points in the subway. Passengers say there were announcements, but also confusion.
When the lights turned off, they just didn't say nothing to us until like 10 minutes later. And then they started talking over the loudspeaker, all scared, like they were sounding confused, like they didn't know what to do themselves.
After roughly 20 minutes and no movement, some passengers on one of the stop trains decided to get out and start walking for an exit staircase. The motorman said, "Don't do it."
The conductor really got angry with them and started calling them stupid and telling them to get back on the train, and they think they're so smart.
Since passengers were walking above an electrified third rail, the CTA had to shut down all power to the tracks. And with that, firefighters and CTA workers directed hundreds of passengers on 4 trains to the streets above. Hundreds more on other stop trains had to catch shuttle buses. There were no serious injuries, though a pregnant woman and 6 other passengers were taken to hospitals. Today was not what happened in July of '06, when a derailment and fire caused serious injuries in the Blue Line subway and later revealed a host of systemic problems. Since then, the track is better, there's more lighting and signage in the tunnel, there's a rehearsed emergency response plan, but there are still questions about communication to passengers who are sitting and antsy.
What we learned today is many of the new things we put in place worked, and they worked well. But certainly there's lots of room to grow, and there's still lots of improvement to make. We'll debrief and figure out what that is.
The CTA has new rail cars on order, and with them would come more sophisticated means of communication for employees and passengers. Transit union leaders said again today, though, that what you really need is a conductor on the trains, at least in the subways, because it's just too much for a motorman to fix a mechanical problem while communicating with a trainload of people who are increasingly agitated with each passing moment. CTA admits there were some communication